Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. Since this is an open hour, thank you everyone for joining us today and taking some time. Look forward to addressing your questions here on our very first NCMA virtual office hours webinar. So just a quick note on housekeeping here. First of all, my name is Jordan Foster. I'm Senior Manager of Marketing and Engagement here at NCMA. So my job is to make sure that you have the best possible member experience, that you are accessing the professional development tools that you need. And if you have any questions, you can always forward them to me, and I or one of our team members will get back to you. So for logistics for today's call, you can use the Q&A feature in your control panel to submit questions, and please submit them at any time. This is an informal discussion, so go ahead and submit any kind of a question or a comment or anything that you'd like us to address on the call, and we will do our best to, I will do my best to get to it during the time that we've allowed. If for some reason I can't get to your question, I will follow up. I've got all of your registration info right here, so I'll follow up and address anything that you need. Second, you can log in and out as you would like to or as your schedule allows. So if you have a meeting to get to and just want to address something quickly, feel free to jump off. But in the meantime, if you'd like, just submit anything that you'd like. So we're going to cover just a couple things while we have people still logging in here, and things that are just going on at HQ that you may not be aware of and may find interesting. So first of all, this is NCMA's 60th year, and we're very excited to celebrate that this year. So May 19th is our actual anniversary. We've lived under a few different monikers in our time, but we are celebrating 60 years of building leaders, and we're very excited about that. So we encourage you to share your NCMA stories because so many of you have such unique perspectives on what it means to be an NCMA member over the years. And if you'd like to go to the bit.ly link at the very bottom of your screen, bit.ly.com/NCMA stories, we have a form there where you can fill out all of the information about your most memorable times with NCMA. This may be used at World Congress, may be used later in the year because this will be a celebration ongoing through the end of 2019. So look forward to hearing what you all have to say. Second, I'm very excited for those of you who aren't aware to announce that we will have a new website. As of late May, we will have a new website that is our target go live date. We will improve that user experience, make sure you're able to easily access the information you need from any device that may be convenient for you. And also we've improved the member profile and access to your information. You will no longer have to reach out to me or a member advocate, or if you'd like to update your profile, you'll be able to do that all yourself. We will have a working search feature so you can look through all kinds of topics and find articles and things that you may be looking for from years past, and a number of other wonderful features that we hope will enhance your membership in the years to come. Third, I'd like to introduce some new staff. So we're very excited to welcome David Resto, who has joined our member advocate team. So if you ever call into the main line at HQ, you will very likely speak to David. So he just joined today, as a matter of fact, and he comes to us with about 25 years of customer service experience. So we're very excited to have him here to elevate the NCMA member experience. And then we also have Julia Walker, who is going to join us as of tomorrow as a chapter strategist. So for those of you who may be chapter officers or who are active in your local chapters, you'll likely be working with Julia over the next couple of months to enhance the chapter relations experience and work on a couple of special projects related to chapters. So welcome to David and Julia, and please feel free to reach out to either of them, you know, to say hello, or if you have any questions. Oh, I did just have a question come in from mobile. How do I renew my membership? So let me just real quick switch my screen share and I will show you. So let's see, we go over to my browser window. Here, let me make sure that comes up for you. Okay, so you can see on my browser here, if you're interested in renewing your membership, what you'll first need to do is just log into your NCMA account, or just click over here to join NCMA and log in that way. So I'm going to do that through join NCMA, click on current member, log in with my account information. If you need your account information, just let me know and I can forward it to you. So I'm logging in here, And then I'm in here as a staff member, so it looks a little bit different, but you'll be able to, in your membership portal, go in and complete the renewal activity at that point. Good question. All right, back to my PowerPoint. So next up, another exciting event that we have coming up is our World Congress in Boston this year. So I hope you all are planning on joining us for that. And in fact, let me just throw out a poll here for those on the line. So if I can do that, I've got a new poll here. World Congress. Are planning to attend World Congress 2019. Okay, so I just added a poll in there, so that should come up as an option for you, shortly. And I'll be interested to see your responses there. All right, so World Congress will be July 28th through 31st, 2019. And we have we have our featured keynote we're very excited about, who's Ellen Lord, who's the Undersecretary of Defense for Acquisition and Sustainment for the DoD. So she will be speaking to us on Tuesday, the 30th of July at 8 a.m. So if you're attending World Congress, please make sure that you attend on Tuesday. And also Tuesday evening is NCMA Celebrates, which if it's your first World Congress, I would highly recommend that you come. So we have a theme each year, and we'll announce that soon. But we have a theme each year. It's a great party. Folks usually dress up in conjunction with that theme. And it's a really, really fun time, particularly that this is our 60th anniversary. And I do want to remind you, if you have a question, please submit it using the Q&A feature or the chat feature in your control panel, and I'll be happy to address it. And if you have yet to register for World Congress, you can use the bit.ly on my screen here too, bit.ly.com/NCMAWC19. A few reminders from our education department. So we want to remind you that we have live webinars on Thursdays at 12 p.m. Eastern, and those take place twice a month. So the next webinar we have coming up is 10 things you need to know about OTAs. That'll be May 9th, so next week between 12 and 1:30 p.m. Eastern. So 9 o'clock for you folks on the West Coast. We also are releasing new e-learning courses every month, so keep an eye on that. We usually will send out an email and let you know on social media when that happens. So just be sure that you're following us on all those channels. We have Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook that we are active on for social media. And then be sure that you also have ncmahq.org marked as a safe sender. The certification online prep courses, so that's a great resource if you are looking to obtain either a CFCM or CPCM certification. And those, the registration for the summer session, will open on June 2nd. So be sure to keep an eye out for that. And as soon as that opens, make sure you get in for the summer session. Let's see, Don, hi, how are you? So you said you've been trying to do some editing on your profile. You want to add your professional designation after your name and you haven't figured it out. Don, I will follow up with you separately. We have been having a glitch with our current database that's not allowing folks to make changes on their own. So I'm marking this down. I will follow up with you as soon as we get off the line today, and we can update anything that you need. Jones. Okay, and on that certification topic, I had another question come in. Do I need a degree to become certified? Not necessarily. So the CPCM, there's a degree waiver available for CFCM and CCCM, so Certified Federal and Certified Commercial Contract Manager. CPCM does require a bachelor's degree. And that's part of our ANSI certification requirements. You may have read on Friday when that email went out that that NCMA is now an ANSI accredited standard setting body. So we're very excited about that. We can, if you need any more information about the about the degree process or anything with certifications, please feel free to submit it here, and I can also connect you with Blake Boynton, who leads our certification operations. Hi, Kathy. How can I contact my local NCMA chapter? Let's see. Kathy, what chapter are you with, if you don't mind? I can also look that up in our database, but I'm happy to facilitate some contact with that group and make sure that you are on their email distro and everything. Okay, DC chapter, but now in Atlanta. Okay, great. So Kathy, the first thing I'll do is make sure that you are actually affiliated with the Atlanta chapter. If that change wasn't made at the HQ level, then Atlanta won't have your info. So I'll make sure that you are affiliated with the Atlanta chapter, and that is one of our most robust chapters. So they'll be, I'm sure, very excited to have you and get you on the distro. So we'll follow up on that after we log off today as well. Perfect. Okay. And back to the education reminders real quick. You can access all of our education offerings at the bit.ly below, bit.ly.com/NCMA education. And I am going to swap over my screen share again to go to my browser just so I can show you our education page. So let's see, I gotta go over here. Okay, so education, if you ever want to go find out about NCMA education events and things going on, you just go to Learn in Advance, Events in Education, and then you have 2 tracks here, in-person and virtual education. So if you want to learn more about World Congress or GCMS or anything of that nature, you can go to the in-person education and go to those links, or you can use the bit.ly that was on the previous slide. Or if you'd like to go to virtual education, you can learn about upcoming live webinars or recorded webinars, e-courses, things like that. So just to show you where all of this is available, we've got our webinar schedule out through the beginning of next year. So if you're interested in registering for something, that is all available to you here. Let's see, I've got another question that came through. What is the difference between the NCMA certification prep courses and chapter prep courses? They seem very similar. They offer training sessions, materials, practice exams, etc. So the NCMA online prep courses, they're hosted through our HQ platform. You get your 40 continuing education credits. It's possible that a group of people can do that within a specific chapter, that all of you can sign up for that and have like a study group that completes it together through a specific chapter. So that is it, but it's all done through HQ. Let's see. All right, I'm getting a chat here. Who should I check with for my membership number from Dubois? I can tell you that right now, just a moment. I will send that to you in a private chat. And let's see. Hi, Amanda. Hi, Deanna. So I've got Tasha here. You'd like to be put in contact with your local chapter? Absolutely, Tasha. I will follow up with you on that. What does it take to start a chapter? The closest chapter to me is 4 hours away, from Heather. Okay, that's a great question, Heather. So if you want to reach out to me separately, my email address is jfoster@ncmahq.org, and I'm also copying down your name and info. But we can talk about the process to start a chapter. We also have our virtual chapter, and if anyone on the line either prefers not to engage at the local level or just doesn't have the time, we can always connect you with our virtual chapter, which is run through the Collaborate platform, which I will touch on shortly. So let's see, Deanna and Mariana. Information on starting a chapter, wonderful. Okay, so speaking of Collaborate, so for those of you who may not have engaged on Collaborate yet, that is our members only online platform. So Collaborate is a wonderful resource. It connects you to all nearly 20,000 of your fellow NCMA members, and it enables you to post discussions, to answer questions, to find volunteer opportunities, to access the member directory. So if you do want to schedule something like a meetup or something in your area with folks that are in your geographic area but may not belong to your chapter, that's a great way to connect with them. There's also access to job opportunities. There's a specific job opportunity community in there, as well as access to the NCMA job board, which is something that we host for the contract management community. So similar to an Indeed or something like that, but just specific to contract management. I'm going to pull up Collaborate here and show you how to log in. And I see we've got a couple more questions here, so let me just swap over my share screen real quick and I will address those. Okay, perfect. So you're looking at there. So all you're going to do is go to collaborate.ncmahq.org, and it will take you to the Collaborate homepage. I'm already logged in here, but if I were to log out, I would just use my NCMA member login information, and that will get me into Collaborate. So if you're logged in on the NCMA homepage already, it should translate over to Collaborate. And if you have issues with that, please let our team know. So here, when you go under communities, you can see my communities, and that will include likely your chapter and any communities that you've joined. You can also look at the latest discussions, contribute to those discussions, update your profile with a photo or anything else. Down there you are. And then we've got our most active members down here at the bottom, so that's kind of fun to monitor. Over here under the Browse tab, you can see the career resources that I mentioned, and that'll take you over to those job opportunities. Let's see. Okay, and I have an education related question. Are NCMA courses worth credit? Yes. And I'm just going to hop back over to the education page here briefly. And what you can do is see, let me see, over here on virtual education, I'm just going to go back. Next to everything that's offered as an education resource, you'll see the CPE CLP credit, what that's worth, and CPE CLP credits for each thing. So if you're looking to obtain continuing education, either for a certification through NCMA or for just continuing ed for work, that's all available here. And then also here in Collaborate, I just want to point out that there are volunteer opportunities under the volunteer tab. So you'll just click that drop down. You can learn about volunteer opportunities, and then you can see what's available and what it's worth within Collaborate. I do see here, and I didn't have it in my presentation, but read an article for CM Magazine on back in, I guess it was September of 2018, we actually brought CM Magazine online in addition to in print. So you'll still get your print magazines every month, but you will also have access to all of those articles online. The way you can find that is to go to our homepage, hover over the Stay Informed tab, or click on it if you're on your phone, and then hit CM Magazine. And as long as you're logged in, you'll be able to read all articles. So I'm not logged in right now to the NCMA website, but I can see 3 preview articles, and then you'll see latest articles. It'll give me the option to log in to see the content. So again, if you're logged in on the main site, that's fine. I just went through and logged in, and now I can see the full article. So this will have, if I go back to that main page, this will have the current issue, which is our subcontract management issue. And here in the next day or two, we're going to have that updated with the May issue. You can also go over to archives and look at past issues as well. And we do have all the way back to 2011 in past issues. If you'd like to go beyond 2011, reach out to our team. You can reach out to us at memberservices@ncmahq.org, or just reach out to me, and we can pull the article or the edition that you're looking for. If you're interested in writing for CM Magazine, our editorial calendar, so the monthly themes of each mag, are available. Is available under the editorial calendar tab, so you can identify which issue you think your article would be best placed within, and then you can read the editorial guidelines and everything under the Write for Us tab, and submit articles to Carrie Hansen, who is our editor-in-chief. Can more than one person participate in webinars or online education at my location? So for webinars, yes. Webinars are priced by site, which is why there is not a difference in the price between members and non-members. So we just say, okay, you can purchase a site for a webinar and bring in as many people as you want. So if you're doing a lunch and learn or something, Belinda, that's a really great opportunity to do that. For the online courses, because the one thing that's important to note, though, is only the person who is signed up for that will get the continuing education credit. And for online courses, or for the online prep courses and things like that for the certifications, those need to be person to person, because we need to be able to map those continuing ed credits back to that person if they're pursuing certification. So yes, for webinars, but for other stuff, you need to take that on your own. Sure thing. Yes, Laura, I did mention an online poll earlier. It is it's a new tool here, so if it hasn't popped up yet, I'll work on it for next time. We'll make sure we have that functionality going. Is it necessary to sign up for both the NCMA HQ prep course and my chapter's prep course? I need to get a better understanding. If you can send me your name, because that came through as anonymous, if you can send me your name, I will follow up with you after this webinar is finished, because I will confirm with our certification team how that impacts if you do the prep courses through your chapter versus through the NCMA online platform, or if you all complete it together. I'll just get all of the specific rules around that and how that impacts your continuing ed credits. So if you can just submit your name either in the chat or in the Q&A, I will follow up. All right, let's go back. So now I have just open for discussion. So anyone, if I'll be on here, for the next half hour. So any questions that you have, please feel free to submit them. Amanda, absolutely. I'll be happy to follow up with your account information. And I'll actually send that to you in a private chat right now. Oh, Don, great question. While I'm answering that for you, Amanda. So how many total staff are there at HQ? Many times members don't understand response times to their inquiries. That might help. So first of all, our goal is to always respond within an acceptable time frame. So if you aren't hearing back, please let me know or someone else. That's my job, to make sure that we are corresponding with our members in a timely fashion. But we do have, I think now as of today, we have 25 staff. So we're not big. We do support, like I said, almost 20,000 members, but we have a great team. We've got a team that supports our certification initiatives, a team that oversees education and professional development, marketing and design, as well as our member advocates and engagement. We also have a phenomenal meetings and events department that is responsible for the wonderful national conferences that we have each year. So yeah, thanks for asking that. Paul, I'm glad that's been useful. And Paul mentioned that it's been nice to look into the website a little bit deeper. If anybody has questions about how to find something, please let me know. As I mentioned, we are going to have a new website late May, but I'm happy to walk you through the existing one in the interim. If you're just joining us, my name is Jordan Foster. I am Senior Manager for Marketing and Engagement here at NCMA. Just here answering some of your questions. We went through some of what is going on at NCMA headquarters that we're really excited about, and I've just been responding to any general membership questions that folks have, or questions about educational opportunities and things like that. So I will go back through the slides shortly. I'm just responding to a question here from one of our members about login information. Okay. And please let me know, this is our first office hours setup. We've never done something like this with the NCMA membership. So if this is something that you feel is a good use of time, please do let me know, and we can schedule these more regularly. Heather, I see, does NCMA ever provide free webinars as part of the membership? Heather, not currently, but we are working on a setup that we should have more information about within the next few months that will allow some continuing education to be part of that membership. So stay tuned, because we do want to continue to provide the most value for your investment. And again, if you're just joining us, please use the Q&A or the chat feature on your control panel to submit any questions, and feel free to log in and out as your schedule permits. Just going back over for some folks who may not have been here when we started, NCMA's 60th anniversary is this year. It's coming up in just a few weeks for the official date that we were founded in 1959. So very excited to celebrate that. That big celebration that you'll see will begin with our May issue, I believe, of Contract Management Magazine, and also at World Congress this year. So if you have not signed up for World Congress, I'll give you some information on how to do that. But we'd also love to invite you to share the NCMA stories that you have from being a member over the years. So if you use that bit.ly.com/NCMA stories, we'd love to feature what you have to say over the course of the next 6 or 8 months of the year. Laura, thank you. We're very excited. So you mentioned that the online conferencing tool is easier to use versus Citrix. Yeah, we love Zoom. We just adopted Zoom, and we're working on, we're doing that for the informational webinars right now. We're working on hopefully migrating completely to Zoom for a better user experience. So we should be able to do things like poll you and annotate slides and things like that, as well as keep it an easy login experience. So I'm really glad you're enjoying it. Do student members receive discounts on webinars and course fees? So student members access the membership rates for everything that we offer. So webinars are the only thing that we don't offer a specific member preferred rate versus a non-member rate. And the reason for that is that we sell webinars by site, since we can't control how many people are in a room. So one person will get the continuing education credits for that webinar, but you could sit there and have a lunch and learn and bring as many people as you wanted into that site. In terms of other courses and events and everything like that, yes, we have student rates. It's either a student rate specifically or the member rate. So yes, Farhad, that's a great question. And for those just joining us, I'm just going back through a few things going on at HQ. Our new website will be available at the end of the month. We will have a much more searchable user interface, so you can actually go in and either filter by courses or filter by topic, or just type in a keyword and it will pull up all of the NCMA content that could be relevant to what you're looking for. It's very nice looking, so I'm excited about that from the marketing perspective. It's on brand, and we're just very excited to have something you can access anywhere, anytime, from your mobile device. It'll all be optimized. So we are excited to roll that out and improve that experience. Welcoming new staff. As I mentioned earlier, David Resto joined us today as one of our new member advocates. So anyone who calls in will likely talk to David on the phone. His contact information is there if you'd like to welcome him or if you have any questions, but do remember he's in training for a little while. And then Julia Walker will join us tomorrow as our chapter strategist to help us with a few projects related to NCMA chapter relations. So those of you who are involved at the chapter level may hear from her. I mentioned World Congress, so that's coming up here in, I guess tomorrow's the 1st of May, so June, July, about 2.5 months, and that will be up in Boston. So we can't wait to go up there. The registration link is down at the bottom of your screen, so it's just that shortened URL, bit.ly.com/NCMAWC19. Ellen Lord is our featured keynote. We booked her a couple of weeks ago, and she's the Undersecretary of Defense for Acquisition and Sustainment at DoD. So that should be a phenomenal keynote address. That will take place Tuesday morning. So make sure that your travel plans allow you to be there on Tuesday. And those who have not yet been to NCMA Celebrates will want to be sure to attend. So that's our big celebration, you know, as the name would suggest, our big party that we have at every World Congress, and each year it has a theme. So keep an eye out for us to roll out that theme soon. But it is a great time. So we always have a band. There will be, you know, there's dancing, there's always something interesting to do at the venue. And we really enjoy having a good time with our members, and not only celebrating NCMA, but celebrating you. This has really been 60 years of you all building the contract management profession. So we are thrilled to be able to host something like that. Education reminders. We have webinars pretty much every other Thursday, usually twice a month at 12 p.m. Eastern, so 9 Pacific for those of you on the West Coast. We usually will announce the next webinar on the day of the current webinar, although all of our webinars are available on the education page, which I'll pull up shortly. We also offer new e-learning courses every month, so watch our e-learning page as well. And our certification online prep course is for the Certified Professional Contract Manager and the Certified Federal Contract Manager. Those registrations will open in June, so that's for the summer session. It's a 10-week course that is self-led online. All of that can be found at the education page, bit.ly.com/NCMA education. I'm also going to pull that page up here in my browser, just a moment. So if you, let me see, I'll just go back to the main education page here, just so you can see what I'm talking about. So when you get to the main education page, which you can do by clicking that, by using that shortened URL, or you can come to our main website, go hover over Learn in Advance and click Events and Education. You'll then have the opportunity to toggle between in-person or virtual education. So what I was referencing just now was virtual, so I'll just bring you over to show you, so you can see when our live webinars take place by clicking Learn More. You can take a look at our learning pathways, our certification online prep courses, our e-courses, our webinars and conferences on demand are all available here for your perusal. You can also see how many continuing education credits they're worth here on the right-hand side. So webinars are 1.5, learning pathways are between 2 and 4 per module. 40 credits for the certification, online prep courses, etc. Just some useful information. If you do want to learn more about our events as well, you can go to in person and take a look here. And now these are our 3 major conferences that we host during the year, as well as our, we don't have SubCon up there yet for 2020, but we will, as well as our national education seminars. You can see what seminars are coming up and what those topic areas are. So you can see all of that here, and that's all in the in-person education tab. Next, in the presentation, I was going to cover Collaborate for those just joining. So I'm going to just head over to the Collaborate homepage. If you've never been on Collaborate, I highly suggest it. It's collaborate.ncmahq.org, and your login is going to be the same as your NCMA membership login online. So just you'll see a login up here at the upper right hand of your screen. So just go ahead and type in your NCMA login information if you haven't already done so on the homepage. If you have, you'll see what I see here, which is my own profile up. So once you get in there, you can see the latest discussions. So this is just the open forum. And then you can also go into the communities tab and view the communities that you belong to. So I, as a staff member, have different communities than you probably will as a member, but you could see if you're within chapter leadership, there's a community there. There are topic-based communities. There are, you know, many different chapter-based communities. So just something to be aware of. There's also a member directory here. If you click on that drop down, and you can go look up folks by different levels of search. So you can add their email address, you can add last name, you can search by company. I'm going into the advanced search here, but my internet is a little bit slow. Okay, so advanced search, you can go by location, or you can even see members of the communities to which you belong. So that's a great tool if you want to get in touch with people who have similar, similar professional interests or similar geolocation to you, but aren't really sure where to start. As long as they've checked the box that says, yes, you can list me in the member directory, they'll be in there. And then finally, under the Browse tab, you can see different discussion posts. To the extent that our members have posted blogs, or that we as NCMA have posted blogs, they'll be in here. And we've also got career resources. So that's a great opportunity for those who might be job hunting. You can see all the latest job postings. The other resource that I will share, it should be in here, so I will check in on that. But the other resource I will share is an NCMA hosted job board called contractmanagementjobs.com. It's hosted through our website, and it's free for job seekers. It does cost money to post a job on that platform, but it is specific to the contract management community. So it's not like LinkedIn or Indeed or Career Builder, where you're going to find the gamut. It is truly unique to the contract management community, and you can go in here and see the different job listings, and you can sort by location. You can look at all the required skills and certifications or degrees and all that, so you can go in and search there. So that's a great tool if you haven't seen it. It's either accessible at ncmajobs.com or contractmanagementjobs.com. And then one thing I was covering earlier that you may not have been logged in for, because we've got some new folks on here, is Contract Management Magazine is now available online. So this is great. It's been available in HTML format since about September of last year. So the way that you can access that is either we send an email every month with the new issue, in addition to the hard copy issue that comes to your mailbox, so you're not going to lose that. This is just in case you happen to be on the road, or if you want to call up an article to reference in a meeting or something, you have it right there. So you can either click on the link in that email notification that we send out, or you can go to our homepage, hover over Stay Informed, and click on CM Magazine. And that will also take you to the page. So if you're logged in on the NCMA homepage, you should be good to go to read all of the articles that you can see here. The ones that appear with a lock will not be available or with a key rather, will not be available to you unless you log in. So again, if you're not logged in on the homepage, you'll just need to do that before you can access the full article. So this is the current issue, the subcontract management issue. Next month will be the World Congress issue. If you'd like to submit an article for consideration for Contract Management Magazine, I'd suggest that you look at the editorial calendar to see what the themes are of the upcoming articles. And then you can reach out to Carrie Hansen, who is our editor-in-chief, and her information is under Write For Us. But you can reach out to Carrie, pitch your article, see if there's space, see what the editorial guidelines are, and then go from there. But we love to have members submit articles. Can you explain what happens, when you connect with another member and collaborate? Some may have experience, education, or skills that are of interest to others. Absolutely. So in Collaborate, you're able to forge connections. Let me just go back. Lost my browser there. Okay. So when you go into Collaborate, you can build kind of a network in there. So it is a great tool if you are looking for sort of micro mentoring, and we are working on something that will be, in terms of micro mentoring, that will be a little more formalized. But you can go into your communities or into the directory and find someone. So Don, since you asked that question, I'm just going to do Donald Jones, and that could also be if you see someone, by the way, who wrote a post that you'd like to respond to offline. So you can either, so Don is here in the member directory, so that shows his contact info. I can go in to his profile and view his bio, see what his background is, and then add him as a contact. So now Don will accept my request to be a contact, and then we can go back and forth and have that dialogue through the Collaborate platform or off the platform. And I highly encourage you all to upload your headshots as Don did, just to make it a more personalized experience. And I'll just make another point on that too. So as you can see, you can go in. So if there's a question about the CFCM prep course, I could go through, I could see the question, I could go in and respond. I could respond to a response. It's very similar to any other online forum or Reddit or something. So we have these threads, and you can also attach documentation to your responses. So if you want to attach a file, hey, this has been useful for me, you can feel free to do so. Can someone join outside of the US? Yeah, absolutely. So that's from Aman. Yeah, so you said, can a volunteer join outside of the USA? So if you mean complete a volunteer activity as in you're already a member, absolutely, just to the extent that is a geographically, if it's not a geographically based volunteer opportunity, then yes. If it is something that's based in the United States, we would just need you to be on site for that. You mentioned you live in Pakistan, there's no NCMA chapter. Yes, currently we do have one chapter in Germany, but the majority of our 90-ish chapters are located in the United States. So we do, Aman, have a virtual chapter that is run through the Collaborate platform that you are looking at right now. And that is a chapter for folks who either are not located near an NCMA chapter or who prefer to engage online versus going to chapter meetings and things like that. So we do have options. You're absolutely welcome to join. Just be aware that some of the content that's put out, if it's around government contracting, it will pertain to the US federal government as opposed to outside the US currently. Let's see, I'm just going to go back to the website. So again, for events, that's always a big question. So that's here on the events and education page, which you can go to Learn in Advance, events and education. And then we have an event calendar that shows several local events as well as national events, but you can also just go to in-person education, and that will, yeah, no problem, Aman. That will also take you to our national conferences and seminars. So again, World Congress is coming up July 28th through 31st, and that is worth 17 credits if you're pursuing a certification or if you're thinking about doing so. So that contributes heavily to your certification continuing ed requirement. So just saying. And then we have GCMS, Government Contract Management Symposium, in the DC area in December. And then we host SubCon, which is a smaller national event, in the spring. So we just had SubCon at the end of March, so that'll happen again in 2020. If you need information on getting certified, because we get a number of questions on that as well, you can go to Learn in Advance Certification. And we had recently, Blake Boynton, who's our manager of certification operations, he and I hosted an informational webinar on that. So that is linked here, as well as the slides and the guide for continuing education and what's recognized in the certification process. So if you need further clarification on certification info, I would definitely start on the certification page. And again, Learn in Advance Certification. Either watch the video or download the slides. And then highly recommend our online prep courses. We've heard, and they're designed specifically for the certification exams, so they will prepare you specifically for what is going to be covered in those tests. So that's helpful. And we've also got some information on the process here if you prefer to just look at the infographic. Let's see, I'm just going through to make sure. If you have a question about your chapter, so Aman brought up a good point about chapters outside the US. So if you do have a question about chapter points of contact, I know a few of you I'm following up with in the next few minutes about changing your chapter affiliation or points of contact that you haven't been able to reach. But in general, you should be able to go in. You'll be able to find, so say you're a member of the Huntsville chapter, you could look in the drop down and click Alabama, or because it's right here, this will take you to the Huntsville chapter's website. Some chapters have a separate website, some have a page that's hosted through NCMA HQ. But so the Huntsville chapter is here, and you can find board of directors information and committee member information here. So officer roles and responsibilities, and you'll be able to find that. Okay, so this is more about the roles themselves. So maybe I picked a less than simple example here, but let's find, at any rate, you can see who the current presidents are and reach out to them, or you can go to the individual websites. Let me find, let's see, the DC chapter. And just let this load for a minute. Sorry about the connection. It's a beautiful day here in the DC area. I hope you're all experiencing good weather as well. Let's see, okay. So now back here, we're gonna look at NCMA DC. You can see the officers. And that's, I'm sure, on the Huntsville website too. I've found it before. I just wanted to find something a little more quickly for you all on the line. So then you can scroll over. Sometimes they'll have like a LinkedIn here, or you could just click and the email information will come up. So I would suggest finding the person who, if you're having a problem with communications, go to the communications chair if they have one, or maybe a programs chair. That will likely get you, particularly if you're dealing with a larger chapter, that will likely get you the best response time. But if you do have a question about contacting your chapter, please don't hesitate to let me know that, and I'm happy to help facilitate that as well. Let's see. Certification prep programs cost a lot due to currency variation. Do you offer discount on a merit or need basis for certification prep courses? Typically not. Sometimes we'll have promotions going on. We typically don't offer discount codes or promo codes on stuff like that. But if you want to shoot me an email, and I will put my email address here. Let's see, all panelists and attendees. I'll put my email address here in the chat for anyone who might have maybe a more in-depth follow-up question, but I'm happy to discuss that further. But yeah, the other thing is if you need to change your chapter affiliation, so if you moved or if you're restationed or what have you, or if you just like to go virtual, please let us know. So currently we do that at HQ. So all you'd have to do is email me or email member services at ncmahq.org, and we can change your chapter affiliation immediately and ensure that you get on the new chapter's distro. And again, chapter membership is included in your NCMA dues, so you don't have to pay extra to belong to a chapter. There may be costs associated with a chapter event, usually to cover, food and beverage and maybe the speaker cost, but it's typically nominal. So just so you know that that's all included. You don't have to pay anything extra to have access to your chapter. If you are looking for books, here's just another resource, again, under Learn in Advance, NCMA books, and we have a number of publications that we offer. The Contract Management Body of Knowledge is the big one for us. We're currently on the 5th edition, and that is the publication that on which the CPCM certification is based. So that's a popular one, and all of our books have preferred pricing for members. So if you need anything, the desktop guide is a big one. We have a few desktop guides. We've got study guides for the different exams. So anyway, all of that can be found under Learn in Advance and NCMA books. The CMLDP, for those who are interested in applying, we are currently accepting applications for the Contract Management Leadership Development Program. It is rigorous, it is intensive and competitive, but we accept, usually I think it's about 20 people, maybe a little bit more or less, so don't quote me on that, but we accept a small group that is our CMLDP cohort each year, and they go through leadership exercises and mentoring and do a couple of capstone projects related to both hard and soft skills, but primarily to the leadership skills associated with contract management. So you can learn all about the application dates and deadlines. So the deadline for applications this year is June 12th. So make sure, if you're interested, to go to Learn in Advance, CMLDP, and download the application and submit. And then from there, there's an interview process if you are one of the finalists, and then we make our announcements. So that'll be early September of this year that we'll announce the CMLDP cohort for the next year. Okay, we have a great point from one of our listeners here. So for the members that may be hours away from an existing chapter, it's always a good idea to ask if the nearest chapter is broadcasting their meetings, either via social media like Facebook Live or like through Zoom like we are right now, or some other programs. To that point, so that's great, and absolutely do that. And just because you're a member of one chapter or a member of the virtual chapter doesn't mean you can't attend events. So if you are a member of the DC chapter, but you happen to be in San Diego, you could easily go to a San Diego event. You may have to pay a non-member rate for that chapter since you don't belong to the chapter, but you are welcome to go to those events, and it's a great opportunity to network with other NCMA members in different parts of the country. But yes, you can always ask that the chapter leadership and the chapter officers if they will be broadcasting events, because that's happening more and more. So Laura, nice point here. Make a comment that as a non-US resident virtual member, it seems that there's a lot of US government contracting information in the magazines and on the website, wondering whether NCMA has plans to differentiate communications between US and non-US members. So Laura, I'm actually really glad that you brought this up. So absolutely, we are primarily based here in the United States, and so that does have a lot, that does carry a lot of weight in terms of the content that we surface. But we are in with the new website and the new technology that we have, we are going to try now and start surfacing content based on the interests that you express. So what you tell us that you're interested in can impact what you actually start to see and receive. So there may still be some, you know, a bunch of U.S. government contracting information just because we are headquartered here and we do have almost 90 chapters here in the United States. But know that that's heard, and I will take that back also to my colleagues, and you know, and we'll continue to try and be as relevant as we can. Okay, and one of our contract management committee folks just mentioned, or contract management magazine committee folks just mentioned, they're attempting to line up article writers working internationally for the members outside the United States. So Laura, again, to your point, we are addressing that. Thank you. And we've got just a few more minutes here, so if you do have questions, again, use the Q&A button on your control panel. Go ahead and submit them. If I have not addressed your question, I put my contact information into the chat box, so feel free to send me an email at any time. I will get back to you as soon as possible. There are a few of you who asked about getting in touch with your chapters, so I will follow up with that as soon as we log off here, as well as a few who wanted information on starting chapters in your area. So I will follow up on that as well. If you need info on a login information, I'm happy to do that here on the line while we're still logged in. And again, encourage you all to interact with one another on Collaborate and really find ways to answer each other's questions, post questions. NCMA is a wonderful community that is very passionate about helping other contract managers succeed. So I encourage you to take advantage of this resource. Aman, I see your question about starting a chapter. I will add you to the follow-up on that. I've got your information from your registration. All right, and just here in the next minute or so, thank you all for being part of this today. It is our first virtual office hours. It is our first virtual office hours session. So I hope this was a good use of time. And if you do feel like it, or if you don't feel like it, I would love to have your feedback. And if we need to make this a regular thing, we'd be more than happy to spend this time together. So hopefully you enjoyed this, and we will see you again either way. Thank you so much. Have a great afternoon, everyone.